welcome to the Improv Summit live from not my house. So that's why you can't see this bottom part because the way I'm sitting, it's not conducive to this background. But that's okay. Is Zoom really conducive to anybody's background? I don't know. My head's disappearing. Anyway, today with me, I have a very special guest, and I got in trouble for saying that because I always say it's a very special guest. So today I have, I have a magnificent guest with me. I'm gonna start doing the first name with the adjective thing.
Whoa!
It's magnificent, Matt. Matt, how's it going?
Hey, I'm great. That is a phenomenal freaking intro. I gotta say, that was a super, Spencer. That was so super.
That's always my name when I do improv with kids. I'm like, I'm super Spencer.
I always go.
Anything else?
I always go. Morphin Matt, and they like a Morphin, like Power Rangers, like a Morphin Matt.
I love that. I don't
Thanks,
think
man.
any kids nowadays know what morphin time is, but it's fine.
Yeah, now because now the Rangers like have like beast mode, like power up, Zeo. I'm like, this is like
In space.
yeah, dude. In space was crazy. All right.
I haven't seen it. There's also like Dino Force, Dino Thunder,
Dino Fury, Dino Charge.
Actually, I recently rewatched Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie because I found the double feature on DVD of Mighty Morphin and Turbo, and I found out that it's actually relatively out of print and really hard to find cheap. But I found it for like $5 at a Goodwill on eBay, and I rewatched it, and like it is just it brought back so many nostalgic memories of like me the whole time. I'm like, I'm pretty sure there's a giant ant in this movie. I was like, that's all I remember as a kid. It wasn't a giant ant, but a giant bug. But still, and that's all I remember. And I was like, did I see this in theaters actually when I was like 4 or 5? I was like, I guess I did.
Yeah. Also,
it was a fun time.
Yeah, man. And I gotta say, I had no idea that Goodwill does eBay. Like,
yeah, they do. They do.
So
I found a lot of stuff that way because it's always free shipping.
What?
So most movies are like $3 or $4 or $5 depending on what the movie is. So I'm like, I don't have to pay for shipping. I have to pay tax on eBay, but like 25 cents in tax. It's not that. So I'm like, yeah. And sometimes it'll say like used, acceptable, and I'll get it. And I'm like, this has not even been opened.
That's incredible. You learn something new every day.
There was not a scratch on that disc when I got it. There was not a scratch on those Power Rangers discs at all. It looked like it had not been touched.
That's a true bargain right there, Spencer.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. And I was selling for like $14 on Amazon. I got it for $5 untouched. Like, come on.
Well, I gotta say, congrats, man.
Thanks. I mean, I don't know how often I'll ever watch that movie, but it's nostalgic for me, so I can show my kids one day when I have kids.
Yeah, dude, skydive with some snowboards on, like.
What Dad? Look at what Dad used to watch. Kids, Three Ninjas and Good Burger and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
This was the best. This was the cinema at its peak. You guys. The '90s were the best. You know what? I know we're super off top. I guess we're off topic. But
welcome to Improv Summit '90s Morphin Edition.
I gotta say, I think I was talking to Katie about this, and I was like, the '90s. Like, we talk highly about the '90s, but the '90s is like the most like the weirdest, like so off-putting, like decade. Like everything else is pretty definable. They're bringing stuff back. The '90s was like a hot mess. Like, what happened? Like what? Well, even in comedy, I was talking about comedies, like 97 to like 2002, like comedies got weird, man. And like, I don't even think you could like really watch them now. Like, there's stuff from like the 70s and 80s that you can still watch, and I'm like, oh, that's really funny. But like back then, and there's a time frame where it's
Good Burger still slaps, and so does
Good Burger.
Those movies are both like legit.
Yeah,
showing its age, but
oh my gosh,
like, what a fun series! I remember. Oh, this is so off topic, but now I remember I literally was like, what is this like? I remember renting a VHS tape. It was like the Pink Power Rangers like big episode or something. And it was literally like it was like a giant like flower or something. And then I found out that flower was voiced by Alex Borstein, and I was like, no way.
That's rad.
I was like, this is legit. Like, I was like, that's why I like this episode, because it's voiced by Alex Borstein, this like flower.
That's incredible. And I'm glad that like they had a great career after that too. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't even remember what it is now. I literally looked it up, found it, and I forgot what it is now. But it was like my favorite episode of Power Rangers, and I could not tell you one thing that happens other than the flower was like running around talking with a voice.
That's what
I
I'm talking
also
about.
didn't know that that show was dubbed from a Japanese show
Yeah,
into. I had no idea. I thought legit because they have masks on, so I had no idea that they weren't actually like talking under the mask.
yeah, dude. It's the Super Sentai series over in Japan. Actually, if you watch them, they're really good. I think they're
Oh, I'm
really
sure.
good. I watched all of Deca Ranger, which is I think that was in America that was Space. I know was it Deca Ranger? No, that was Time Force. Time Force, I think, was Deca Ranger. It was really really good in Japanese. Anyways,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
legit. Anyway, we could talk about Mighty Morphin all day because that's bringing back all the feels of my '90s nostalgia. But we're not here to talk about Mighty Morphin. Let's morph into our conversation of the night. Oh, look at that segue.
Oh,
It's improv. So let's talk to you, Matt. Let's talk about. People know all about my improv background because I happen to slip it in every episode because the show's all about me. No, let's talk. I just happen to talk a lot, and I'm like, oh, this is a fun story. I have to tell you, and then not realizing that I've told the same story multiple times on this show, but it's a different person who hears it. So the audience is like,
yeah.
okay, Spencer, we get it, we get it.
That's the show. I didn't realize it. The show is like getting. It's like something. It's like we're just gonna talk about like Hercules. It's like that's the same thing. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
no, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because now I've been starting to like get on these tangents. So like it's been like the Improv Summit, like theme park edition, the Improv Summit potato edition. Now it's the Improv Summit Mighty Morphin edition. Because that's just what the conversation transpires. No. Yeah, yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
exactly, man.
enough about vocabulary words. Let's talk about improv. Matt, what is your improv background?
Yeah, man. God, I think what year is it now? 21. I've been doing the improv for
What year
11
is it?
years now. I know. Like, what the heck? I started in San Diego. I was actually I got into improv through San Diego State's improv team, ajrIW. And I remember the first time I saw it, I was kind of like, I was a music major in the beginning, and I was really like overwhelmed. The music department made me take 24 units, and I didn't know better, and that's a lot of
What do you
units.
mean? I was a music major,
So
and
you know,
I had a second major.
so you know, so you it's yeah. And I was like,
Why?
and I was like sad and overwhelmed and stuff like that. But then like I remember going to like my buddy's improv show, and like I saw specifically, I remember I saw them do 5 things, and I love 5 things, and I saw that, and I was like, wow, like that was awesome. I want to get involved with that. So I like, they started there was a practice team where I just went, and then I like the next semester I like made it onto the team. And then I through them I started doing improv at the National Comedy Theater and made it to their main stage there, and then started doing stuff at like all in San Diego. I did like side stage improv, which now is Old Town Improv Co. Finest City. Like I was like running around San Diego doing a lot of stuff, and then while I was in school still, I knew I was coming up to L.A. and I saw Book of Mormon. I saw a buddy after Book of Mormon at the Pantages who had just moved the year before up to L.A. and he told me that the Nerdist was having a theater, and I was like, whoa, that's awesome. Like I back then I was like a huge Nerdist podcast fan. I like loved, I knew the name. I know Geek and Sundry. I know all the affiliates and stuff like that, and so I was like, I want to have some sort of community when I come up here. So I was like in one of the first classes at the Nerdist school. I'd borrow my roommate's car I don't even think I was supposed to do that. I don't know if I was, but I borrowed my roommate's crappy car and I drove up to LA. I was working in and out 30 hours a week still too in San Diego and taking a full load. And like, I was able to drive up to LA once a week, do improv, at the theater. I met like a great group of people. My first LA improv show was my class show at back in Nerd Melt. Back then you did it in Nerd Melt, not at the Nerdist Space, which was right next to Meltdown Comics, which ripped Meltdown Comics. It's gone, which is really unfortunate. And I remember we had this really weird guy in my class. It was really strange, and he's like, my buddy's coming, and his buddy comes in the back of the room while we're doing scenes in Nerd Melt, and it was Tommy Wiseau, and like I'm like, what? So like my first improv show, Tommy Wiseau watches us do improv, and he was like a weird dude. I was like, it's just this really bright white figure, like it appears in the background like a ghost, and I'm like, that's Tommy Wiseau, and that was really weird. But then I just kept doing improv, man. Like and I did UCB, I did Second City, I did IO, rib.io, and through it, like I did a house team at Nerdist, and then like I'm out on Second City's really awesome improv show with you, Spencer, and I just did a lot. And I taught a lot of improv, and it's just something that I've always really enjoyed, and to me, it was always a nice escape. I know there's some weird sometimes like there's politics in anything you do. I never got caught up in that bullshit. I'm like, oh, like we're just fucking making up stuff. Like let's just have some fun. Like why are we taking this so seriously? Let's
Yeah,
just do this.
exactly. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. It feels like you have a lot of variety of experience, which is really cool. Because improv in itself is a variety. Like when people think improv, they just think improv, but there's so many types of improv, which actually sort of kind of leads me into the next question, but maybe not really at all. But yeah, sure, why not? What do you love about improv?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things I really love about it, man. Like, I think the one thing is like, I love the spontaneity of it. Like, you really don't know what's gonna happen. I think that's really great. And improv actually taught me how to fail big, which is like something that you can take anywhere. Because you try something. If it doesn't work, you just brush it off and you go on to the next thing. You know what I mean? like it's a really great tactic, and I'm a firm believer that anyone can improvise, because it's not necessarily about being funny. It's about like being just like being just being a fucking person. And then like with because people in our everyday lives, like even when we're talking, like funny things just naturally happen and come up, and like that's what you just call out. So it's like just practice being a fucking person, and I like getting to explore that and latching on to like, oh, so like someone in the audience found that funny, like why do they find that funny? I always think that's really, really interesting. And just getting to explore, there's different aspects I like about it. I love making people laugh, but like I really I like both long form and short form. I don't know why in LA people are like weird about short form. I'm like, yeah, I get over that. Like that's some
Yeah,
weird.
sure.
That's some like okay, dude. Okay, like like sure, like that's some weird superiority complex. I'm like, it's
Like long form is the bougie version of improv, but it's
yeah.
like
And I do think that like short form is so much more not like not digestible, but it's like you get on the same page with like the audience faster. And I think it's like why is that like a bad thing? I just don't
yeah.
understand. I just
I
don't
think
understand that.
I wish I had done short form before I did long form because I think my brain is actually wired much more to short form than it is long form because my brain is constantly thinking of things
Yeah,
and it's not able to attach anything. But when I get into a scene where I only have like 3 or 4 minutes to like do it and then it
yeah,
has to be over, it allows my brain to like really process it a lot quicker because I'm able to analyze what's happening in the scene in a whole different way than like long form. It's like I got 20 minutes to kill,
yeah.
whatever. Like it,
And
so
like
it does feel like they're very different.
yeah, and like I think and they could coincide together, you guys. Like they could totally be like here's the difference. Like in short form, like you already know what the mechanic's gonna be. You already know what the game's kind of so you can kind of jump on the funny, unusual thing faster, and the audience is kind of like trying to keep up with it
Yeah,
too. And long form, like you just figure it out. But you have the time to. You know what I mean? So like why can't they live together? I just will never understand that. I think if people have a problem with that, it's like okay, dude, get over yourself. Like all right, all right. You know what I mean? But yeah, and then like I just I just really like the connection that we get to build together. There's an energy, man. Like there's this feeling when like we're in sync. Like when we both we like just like we are locked in. We like know like what the next beat's gonna be. Like we're just synced in, and it's just this electric feeling that I would get from music actually. And I didn't I didn't I switched majors. I was like I can't music. That's not how I wanted to do music personally. And I was like I just missed that feeling, and it was like that feeling but like enhanced. It's like it's crazy. It's so satisfying when things like when you figure it out, and even when you're like struggling, it's like you're growing in those moments. You're like you're learning to become faster and learning how to like and live in that like in that fear or that excitement or whatever. Like I think it's invigorating or intoxicating. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That makes sense. Yeah, it makes you drunk on life.
yeah.
Intoxicating. It's a bad pun. I try to put one in every show. Give me a pun game, I will win every pun game. If the points matter, which they don't because it's improv. Uh, the dollars matter if you're doing professional improv and you want like actual money, but
Yeah.
improv. Yeah, improv points don't matter. Anyway, that being said, on a whole completely different side note, I also want to point out this pocket on my T-shirt, which is making me very self-conscious. And now that I pointed it out, everyone's going to stare at it. But it's just odd because it just kind of sticks out to me, even though it's just a T-shirt with a pocket.
Hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, So yes, this is purposely there. Not by me. I didn't purposely put it there. It's just the shirt has it. Anyway,
Yeah.
enough about my shirt problems. Are there any scenes that you've either been in or seen as an audience member that really stood out to you, like the characters or the world or anything that was like an aha moment for you for improv?
As a performer or as a
Either way, either way.
oh man.
It's
Um
always tricky because it's the trick question because no one ever remembers what they do in improv.
yeah, for real. Uh I think I one of my favorite one of my favorite scenes I've ever done. Um what was that? Oh, I had a two-man show for a while called Messy Avocado, and I did it with my buddy Matt Mesterman. It was like a play on words or our last names, but like I really loved two-man improv. We had a couple forms. We would do like either the flower or we'd do something like one that we would just kind of be our go-to is like like the Meisner kind of thing where you like say the words and like you say a sentence, you get a sentence from the audience and you say it like over and over again in different ways, and then you land on something and go into a scene, right? And I really like the format. And I just remember like we had a really, really great run. And it's man, improv's like so shitty to explain to people after. Like it's like
For sure, 100%.
it's like you guys just gotta trust me. It was fucking awesome. But this is just for me. Like it's
Yeah.
like I just remember this like really fun scene where we were like, it was like he was the king of, we were like, it was like I was like a lion, like, but we were people, and like he was like being like he was like another lion. He was like kind of being a dick, and I went into the audience and like got him involved to be like, like down with like why, like I don't know. It was like I'm having a hard time remembering it, but I just like remember it being so awesome and like everyone got in on it and like they ate it up and like we brought it back later too, and like it was just really 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 fun. Oh, actually, I got another one. I just love.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a sucker for themed shows. I think themed shows are fucking awesome. I love it. I think there's an energy.
Well, this is the Mighty Morphin themed improv summit, so just kidding.
So let me talk about my Power Rangers improv show. I'm just kidding.
I'm ready for Power Rangers improv coming soon. You and me.
Oh man, if I'm going too long, just let me know. Because now that I started talking about it, now it's actually coming back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's like the thing where I'll let you get back to it, but it's where people are like, "Oh my gosh, I love when you played that doctor in the scene earlier," and I'm like, "Thanks." They're like, "You remember when you did that thing?" I'm like, "Nope." Nope,
Yeah.
thanks. It was 20 minutes ago, but I really don't remember at all. Thank you. What were you gonna say?
I think I'm gonna shortly explain three things because they're different kind of things. I think the first one is, man, if you guys get a chance, like do a college show. Like back in college, like college kids are like, when I was in college, I don't like go perform for colleges, but if you do, that's awesome too, and I would go. But like I'm saying, like we would have San Diego State had a rivalry or like a rivalry with UC San Diego's team's Foosh, and we'd have these rival shows like every other month, and like we'd go to there, we'd come here, and I just remember like the energy. People got so into the competition aspect of it, and it was like it was just electric, man. And like we didn't care who actually won or whatever, but I just remember like that feeling. And so just in general, like that kind of a show was awesome. We'd pack auditoriums like to do these shows. It was crazy. Another one is I had we did something called my buddy from National Comedy Theater. He's out here now. I don't know if you know Brendan, my love. I don't think he's done Second City yet, but you'll meet him soon. I'm sure you'll meet him.
Sure.
But he used to run a show. It was called the Midnight Show in San Diego, and we do it in the La Jolla High School cafeteria, like outdoor cafeteria at midnight, and we bring like our own lights and stuff. It was like an underground improv show, and it was awesome. It was awesome. We did it once a month. Like one time we had like hooligans come in and like light fireworks and then watch the show, and then another time like a homeless dude came in and like, you want to watch improv? Come watch improv. Like it was just really cool. And then the last thing I guess I'll bring up is I had a barbershop quartet, an improvised barbershop quartet out here called Barbershop. And thank you. Since everyone knows what they're getting themselves into, like I think these guys are gonna sing. Oh, they're singing.
I don't know. Barbershop makes me think of like editing. You're gonna be cutting things.
Ooh, that's good. That's very inside baseball. I like that.
Yeah.
Oh man, I think another. It's like, but that show, we just like. I remember we closed out I forgot what festival. Maybe we did like it was LA Indie, or maybe Nerdist had a festival or something. But like here's the thing with barbershop and improvised barbershop quartet. It's like 80% like or 75% miss. You know, like you try your best to make actual acapella music, but then when you hit, it's like magic. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Like,
I sure do.
oh my god. So like we really
difficult harmony for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just remember, like, man, we just like when we synced it. Whenever we were finally when we got in sync, man, like it was just like amazing. We were hitting all these really incredible chords. You know, I love being at like a second tenor and finding those. I call them yummies. You know, like they're all the ones that like are kind of don't like fit outside of the chord but fit. You know, and like
There's my jam.
Oh, it's the best, dude. Musical improv is just magical. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I just remember like whenever we'd land that, it was always like incredible, and then it's like, oh shit, we still got like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, like, how do we top that? How do we top that? Yeah. Well, there's just so many memories.
Do it backwards.
Yeah, you know, right. There's just a lot of memories, man. Like, you really open up that can of worms, and you can just go for hours. But it's just like it's hard to explain to people who weren't there. So I just gotta say, y'all missed out on some really good shit.
I missed out, but that's okay. I have a chance in the future, in person soon. True. Oh, hopefully. It'll get there. It'll get there. That being said, now's the time for you if you want to do any plugs or pitches or promos. I'm calling it the 3 Ps now. Plugs, pitches, or promo. Anything you want to plug, pitch, or promo.
Oh, okay. Thanks, man. Yeah. So, guys, I do if you're into actual play podcasts, a little bit about me. I come from that background. I worked at like Nerdist and Geek and Sundry and Hyper RPG and did a lot of tabletop stuff. If you're looking for a new tabletop actual play podcast, I do one called Mass Effect Adventum. If Mass Effect is a video game by BioWare, it's an incredible game. You don't have to have played the game to listen to this podcast. It is an actual play podcast where, in a nutshell, we're a crew of people who are trying to gather materials for a giant ship called the Janus Collective that is trying to leave the Milky Way galaxy and get to a new galaxy to start anew because of spoilers in Mass Effect, right? So you don't have to have played Mass Effect, but it's a lot of fun. I play a Krogan named Kirk. We've had great guests on, like Joven Shire from Smosh Games, Kelly Nugent from El Rey Network and Teen Creeps podcast. We even had and we had Mark Meir, who's the voice of Commander Shepard, like come and play with us as well. So like, if you want a new podcast to listen to, come check it out. Yeah, nice. Awesome. It's really good.
I love it. That's great.
Thanks, man.
That's great. Podcasting has become a thing too. Dipping my toes on that, and it's very different than your podcast, but it's always fun. It's also all these information is going to be down in the comments below. I should start doing that. I don't do it as much, but if you can't figure out where the comments are, leave me a message, and I will be glad to point you out to where the comments are.
Yeah.
Yeah. That being said, thanks for joining me. I have one final question for you, Matt.
Cool.
And it's the reason why I did this improv song, right? I had a lot of people before pandemic, but even now with improv being super accessible around the world, literally, people would always say like, Spencer, you do a lot of improv. Where should I take improv? And it became such a hard question for me to answer because I feel like it's a very nuanced, loaded question. And so I was like, what do you want to get out of it? What is your purpose in improv? But if someone came up to you and asked you like, Matt, where should I take improv? What would be one piece of advice or one tidbit that you'd give to that person to help guide them on their improv journey?
Yeah. There's and like I said, I don't know how long it's going, but it might be a minute. But first off, like I would, Spencer has a great point. Like, what are you trying to get out of this, right? I would say that if you're looking for friends, if you're looking for, there's different reasons to do improv. If you want to learn improv, right? If you want to learn it, I don't think. Here's the thing, like every school kind of has like a philosophy or a style or whatever. I think it's very important to remember that those are just tools to put into your tool bag. Like everything you learn in improv is going to be applied at some point. I've been in classes where people will be like, "This is like the only way to do it." I'm like, "That's bullshit. It's not." So don't listen to that because they're being dumb. But like it's just, but their tool is useful. Like you can put that in your toolbox and take it with you. In terms of schools out here, man, I think first off, unless you're a straight white man, which if you are, you'll have opportunities for other things. But like if you're not,
You'll have plenty of opportunities for
Yeah.
plenty of things.
yeah, but like take advantage of diversity scholarships because almost every school does it. If you're because if you're like a woman but you're white, like, you're still a woman, so like you should apply for it. If you're any person of color, if you're transgender, whatever, like look or wait because or ask like someone because there are ways to get classes for either cheap or free, and take advantage of those because you'd be surprised how many people don't take advantage of those. With that also, there's also like if you want to learn maybe like a style or something, like second, like sometimes there's open houses like once a year, like Second City does an open house once a year. Like keep an eye out for that. You can sign up for like a free workshop or something. And in terms of like actual like schools, each one is different. And I think it's a tough question because I'm just gonna break down like I guess like UCB for example is like if you like have no idea how to be funny at all, like you have no idea and you just want to be funny, like I just want to be funny. UCB is a great way because their program is literally built with how can I take an average Joe Schmo and have them how can I get them to be funny? Not that the other schools don't do that, but this is like a very fundamental way, a very written out way to be funny. So that is like, and it's a great tool to learn. I think if you don't want to go that route, like other theaters, like I don't know what's going on, but like what used to be the Nerdist School is the Ruby LA. I really like their curriculum, and I don't know if it's still the same. But I love the curriculum at the Nerdist School. If it's still the same, I think they were awesome because it was all about doing scenes from like an emotional game and emotional heightening and emotional POV, and kind of just starting off with just making a strong choice that is just like a perspective. And like I thought that was really fun because you can kind of apply that to anything. So that was kind of their format, and also like getting I don't think Tommy doesn't teach anymore, but he got into like really really crazy like far-fetched improv stuff that's pretty advanced that if you're tired of improv, not tired, but maybe you want to break the structure or experiment, Ptolemy is a great teacher for that. He teaches you some old, he calls it old, I think it's called old school improv, and it's things like the mosaic and like I'm blanking on the term, but you're like the last class at Nerdist School is like you literally make a form on the spot, and that was really fun if you've done improv before. And then like there's places like the Pack, and I don't know the Pack style. I know like Miles Stroth teaches there. I think he's a really great teacher, but I've never actually had him. But I do know a lot of people like the Pack, and I think it's kind of like a hodgepodge of different styles. There's also what's it called? They do narrative improv over in like on Vermont, side stage. No, not side stage.
You're talking about the Clubhouse.
No, not it's like. The Improv, thank you. Improv is
like side space sidewalk. I was like, oh, sure, I don't know. Yeah, Improv is great. I've taken genre. We're big on narrative. For sure. If
you're looking to do like narrative improv and it's a really good like study on character and stuff like that. They're really good at that. And they're good at like long narrative improv. So if you want to do like, and those are always such fun shows too. Like if you want to try to like, how do I do like a Shakespeare or something?
Jane Austen improv. I've done both of those.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of horror improv.
Yeah,
or sci-fi. Like it's just have fun. They really have a good time. So if that's what you want specifically, that's like their niche. And then Second City. Second City is amazing. Second City is more about it's like character driven and applying what you learn like your characters to kind of build like a sketch in your own show. And I think Second City is really great because they actually like nurture you to create your own show and then you do a run of it. And I think it's really, really awesome. I actually encourage a lot of people to go through that program because I think it's just such, it's uncomfortable, and that's good because that's how you grow and you get a run, and like it's just good practice. I haven't dealt with Groundlings, but Groundlings is also very sketch focused. They're a little bit more competitive, I guess, so you have to like audition to get in and stuff like that. But there's workshops on how to get in. It's like you'll figure it out. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I think that's like they're all different, man. They're all just so different.
So different, which also goes to show that like So there, if you go to an improv class, and again, improv's not for everyone. I'm not saying like improv, literally everyone likes improv. But if you feel like you've gone to a class and you're like, I don't get this, or like I don't understand this style, maybe try a different place before you give up on improv entirely to see
Yeah.
if maybe it's like the style, or it's not quite your like spice or what you're going for. Maybe you'll find something that resonates with you a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think that just goes to show how vast improv is, with improv being a thing where people make stuff up.
It really is, man. It's awesome, man. Like, just give it a shot, and like, I just don't. If you get someone who like says you can't do it, or like, or gives you a hard time, like, they're just not. They're probably just not good for you. Like, so you gotta try someone else. Like, it's like a therapist, dude. Like, you can't, like, it takes a minute to find a good therapist. You know what I mean? But like, because I am a firm believer. Anyone can improvise. Anyone can do it. You just need proper guidance. And if someone's being like a jerk about it, you don't need that. That's not gonna like. What, are you trying to stroke their ego? No, you're paying for a class. Like, you fucking like should learn how to. They should teach. They should invest in you. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Matt. This has been super wonderful. I love everything that you had to say. I did say that was the last question I had for you. And as always on this show, I'm a big liar, big fat liar, like Paul Giamatti.
Yeah.
Uh,
Blue
and
faced.
yeah, I'm two-faced also. No, and one face, two-face, blue fish, red face, blue face. I'm trying to do the fish thing. I don't know. Anyway, I do have one more question for you, and that question is: we've been talking a lot about improv. Do some improv.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Let's go. Let's go.
All right, let's do it. So I have a website. So I want a location, a relationship, or a word. Which one do you want me to choose?
Word.
A word. So I'm gonna give you the word, and in this scene, both of us, I'm gonna have you cast this again. You're an improv cast, but neither one of us can play a human.
Cool. That sounds
So
fun.
no humans allowed. No humans allowed for this scene. The suggestion is vanilla.
Okay, cool. Okay, vanilla. I'm going to be a bag of peas in the freezer, and
Okay.
and you're gonna be Tillamook ice cream in the freezer.
Great. All right, let's do
And we
it.
don't have to be in the freezer. I thought we would melt otherwise, so I said in the freezer.
I mean, oh no, I'm melting. I mean, yeah, probably in the freezer.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Or who knows? I mean, maybe not.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Yeah. We'll find out. Who do you want to initiate?
Well, either person, it doesn't matter. You're the guest. You choose.
Yeah, I'll initiate. Sure.
All right, great. Let's do it.
This is our coffin, Tillamook. We will die here. We're never going to be eaten. We are going to live our lives in the darkness of this freezer.
Peas. I feel like I have a better chance of being eaten than you because people love ice cream. They love ice cream. Move over, am I right? Move over, Peas. There's more room for me.
You privileged motherfucker. You think just because you're delicious and have calorie, I don't even know what I'm saying right now. I'm so
More content.
yes.
Words than you do.
Yeah, of course. I bet you got that from your privileged high school. You only went to a private.
I am sold in high schools. That's true.
Well, I'm also sold in high schools.
You're giving away with the free lunch.
To the people who need it. All right.
Oh, please, just stop.
If I had hands and arms, I would come over there and rip that pint top off of your pint.
Well, if I had arms, I would do the same for you, Peas. But in a different way because you don't have a pint top. It's more of just like a bag. I just open your inside.
Is that all you do? Is look down on people? You're
Taller than you. I'm taller than you. Of course I am.
Ugh. I pay my taxes to the okay. I pay my taxes to the mook.
I'm more expensive than you. I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Oh, you son! I'm gonna roll over. I'm gonna roll over there if I could.
Yeah. I can roll. I'm a circle. I mean, I'm more of like a what's the sphere? Like a sphere kind. I'm more like a cylinder. I'm more like a cylinder actually. Like
Stop
a
it!
half cylinder.
Stop throwing those big words at me. You know I didn't get that kind of education. You privileged milk product fuck.
Would you please excuse me? I think I'm leaking in the back.
Don't you insane? I think that was the best one, guy. Man, I think that was too real. That was too real.
It's so weird. Thanks everybody so much for coming to the Improv Summit. I'm Spencer. That's Matt. See you next time. Bye.
That's how it ends. That's fucking awesome.